What's going on, guys? Today I'm Griff with Four Horsemen, and today I am bringing you another deck profile. And today it's going to be a deck profile of a new deck you haven't seen, and that is Darklords. So I originally was going to build this like a while ago, actually. I've wanted to build this deck for a while. But unfortunately, this deck for some unknown reason was like stupidly expensive. Because Ixchiel at one point was like really expensive. I honestly have no idea why. But the deck's cheap now. I am gonna say it's not like the most competitive deck ever because it can brick, but it is a super fun like budget deck you can get. Plus the entire deck is hollow, so that's nice. And yeah, it's just overall really fun. It has some cool mechanics, and there's some cool things you can do with it. So yeah, let's just hop right into this. And before I start, I want to say, I know you guys want a Dark Synchro deck profile. It is coming. However, I decided to wait until my Darlord Savage Dragon came in the mail. It hasn't arrived yet, but when I get that, I'll do a profile for that because that card's really neat for the deck. And also, if you guys could, drop a like on the video because that helps the videos and the channel immensely. If you haven't already and you like what the videos I put out, why don't you go ahead and subscribe because I do weekly videos, or at least I try to do weekly videos. And leave a comment down below and let me know what you guys think of Darklords and what you run or any suggestions you have. So with that done, let's hop right into this. Starting us off with the best card in the deck, Ixchiel. You run 3 of this thing at all times. It is a destiny draw for the deck, and it's just amazing. So what this card does is you can discard her and 1 Darklord card from your hand. That could be a monster, a spell, or a trap. And then you discard them and you draw 2. So they have their own destiny draw. There's not much to say. It's just fantastic. Plus, she has the effect of, during either player's turn, you can pay 1,000 life points, shuffle a Darklord spell or trap into the deck, and you can apply that card's effect as her own. So, basically, all of the Darklords have this effect. There's only a couple that you run that don't, but you run those for other reasons. Those are typically your fodder for the Darklord traps. So, yeah. You run 3 Ixchiel. You always run 3 Ixchiel. She's a must-have. Next up, I run 3 Nastin. You can run 2 of this card if you want. I prefer 3 because I like to see it as often as I can because it's the one of the easiest Darklords to get out. For this, you just need to send 2 Darklord cards from your hand to the grave to special summon him from the hand. And he has the special summon pay 1,000 life point effect, so that's always good. He's the most reliable one you have to get out for activating your spells and traps from grave, so that's always good. So yeah, you run him at 3 of at all times. You can run as I do. You can run at 2, but I prefer 3 because it's just better. Next up, I run 3 Superbia. You should run 3 of this card because this is one of your main board presence. This is one of your main ways of getting board monsters on board for board presence. So when special summon from the grave, you can special summon a Darklord card from your grave to the field. This is amazing because what you can do is you can send a Superbia and an Ixchiel, send these to the grave, draw 2 cards, and if you have a contract or a way to get to contract or monster reborn, you can summon Superbia, and then the Superbia will get you the Ixchiel back, and then you automatically have a Darklord live for your spells and traps to activate from grave. So you run this thing at 3 at all times because it's a must at 3 for the deck. Next up, we run 2 Darklord Tezcatlipoca. I think I'm saying that right. I'm probably not. I'm probably butchering the hell out of that. But He's a good protection card. You can discard him from the hand to prevent one of your Darklords from being destroyed by battle or card effect, so he's good for that. He's also a giant beat stick, which is really nice. That's actually typically what I most use him for. And he's also a good Darklord fodder because you can discard him for a trap or for Ix Shield, and then if you get Superbia, if you get Superbia out, he has the effect of pay 1,000, the pay life point effect too. So he is really good. You want to run I say you want to run at least one of him. I prefer two, but you can run one, you can run two. It's up to you. But I like him at two. He's been serving me really well. Next up, 2 Darklord Zorado. Like I said, this can be a 1 of, this can be a 2 of, this can be a 3 of. It's up to you. This one does not have a life point effect, but he does have board wiping, which is really good, and you can summon him by, if you have 4 more dark monsters with different names in your graveyard. I had to look at that because I've never actually summoned him with that effect. But Zorado's great. I like him. He has his moments, plus he's a level 8, so you can overlay him with Superbia. He's great fodder for the traps, and overall, yeah, you want to run at least, I say at least 2 of him. He's good. Moving on to 2 Ukabek. This is an Armageddon Knight for the entire deck. I don't know why people only run 1 of this card. I love this card at 2. Plus, it's the only one that you can actually normal summon because you're not going to tribute summon the other ones except for like Morningstar. So he's great. He can fuel your graveyard, and he's a easy target for the traps. So I like him, but you can run at 1, you can run at 2, you can run at 3. I don't think I'd recommend 3 because I can brick. But I prefer him at 2. I think 2 is the perfect number for him, but it's personal preference. But you want to run at least 1 of. Next up for the 1 of Darklords, we run 1 Morningstar and 1 Dusk. So I'm going to say right now, Morningstar, he has his uses, but he's not that good right now. However, when we get Condemned Darklord, which is the Darklord Link, he will be immensely better, because you can banish Darklords from your grave to summon him, which makes him beyond stupid. Then, because for his effect, he doesn't have a life point banishment, but he's actually, ironically, so far one of the only ways to gain life points back for currently, but it's not that reliable. But if you're going second, you can summon him, and then you get to special summon Darklords with different names from your deck equal to the number of monsters your opponent controls. You can spam the board with who knows how many monsters with 1 card. And there's a reason you can't special summon him, and he does take a lot of resources, but when you get his effect off, you instantly win games. Like, I don't use him a whole lot, but I've won games because of him, so that's why I run him. Plus, he has, like, the sickest artwork. Next one, Dusk. This is personal preference. You don't really have to run this thing. He does have the life point cost effect, which is good. I mainly use him for his discard effect for recycling, because he can be the one to get you back that contract or that, I don't know, Ix Shield or something. Get that contract, get that trap, or get the banishment back from your deck, from your graveyard, that can help you win the game. So you only need 1 of him. You hardly ever use his effect, but when you do use his effect, it comes in extremely, extremely useful. And then the last monster, 1 Christia, because the entire deck is fairy, and when you can get a giant Vanity's Emptiness on legs, why not? Plus you can recycle him, which is funny. And yeah, so I like him. He's a good 1 of. I don't think you want to run more than 1 of him. You can try, but I prefer just 1 because I think it's just better. So yeah, 1. Next up, 3 Banishment of Darklords. It's a Rhoda for the entire deck. Not much to say. You run the 3 of this thing at all times. Next up, 3 Darklord Contact. It's a monster reborn for the deck. That's searchable. You run 3 of this thing at all times. It's typically your key playmaker to get the Superbia and get a Darklord on the field. So yeah, you run 3 of that at all times. Another card, 3 Allure Darkness. Your entire deck except Christia is dark, so this is your draw power. So that's why I run this. You can run Trade-In if you want. I don't like Trade-In. I don't like it in this deck. I prefer Alert Darkness because it literally works for the entire deck, but you can run Trade if you want. I just don't in this build. Next up, 3 Foolish Burial Goods. This is used for getting your spells and traps in the grave for your Darklord effects to kick off. It's good for just setting things up, and it can help you like send a contract to the grave when you don't have one, but you have like a nest on a field, and that'll give you board presence. So overall, you won't run at least 2 of this thing. I think 3 is perfectly acceptable because I'm currently running 3. But I might cut this down to 2 later on if it bricks. It tends to sometimes brick. For the 1-ofs, 1 Foolish Burial, send that 1 monster to the grave that you need. 1 reasoning, because I'm actually testing this because the entire deck except Morningstar can be summoned off reasoning, which is funny. So, like, maybe if they call level 8, your deck might have a bit of a trouble because you run the Zerato and the Superbias at a decent amount, but everything else in the deck, the entire deck is multi-level, the entire deck can be special summoned off of reasoning other than Morningstar, and I think Christia can too. Yeah, so Christia can too, which is, oh my god. So, I'm testing this. I think it's going to work really well, but I actually haven't had a game yet when this has come up. But I just have a feeling this will be amazing. 1 card destruction. I'm currently testing this because you don't care if your stuff is sent to the grave. Like maybe there's like a couple of cards that you don't want to discard. But overall, I like this card. It's a good 1-up. Plus, it can screw up your opponent. 1 Monster Reborn. It's Monster Reborn. That's all the spells. Moving on to traps. 3 Darklord Rebellion. This is essentially a Regeki break for the entire deck. You just send a Darklord from your hand or face up on your field to the grave to target and destroy 1 card on field. It's amazing. It can hit monsters and back row. It's just great. This can be a 2-of and it'll still work perfectly fine. I prefer 3-of because I want to see this thing as often as possible. But yeah, you want to run at least 2, hopefully, but I run 3. 2 Sanctified Darklord. This thing you could easily run 3 of and it would be amazing. You have the cost of sending the Darklord to the grave, and then you can target 1 monster on the field, negate its effects until the end phase, and then you gain life points equal to its attack. So this is your main way of gaining life points back because you pay a lot of life. When Condemned Darklord comes out, that thing will be another way of gaining life points back, but this is your main way of regaining life points, and it's just an amazing trap overall. So you definitely want to run at least 2 of. I might bump this up to 3. That's how much I use this. But yeah, you want to run this as basically you want to see this thing all the time. So, and the last card, 1 Darklord Enchantment. It's not terrible. You can send the Darklord to the grave to take control of the opponent's monster until the end phase. It has its moments. Sometimes this is better than Regeki Break because it can take control of 1 monster so they don't link, or I don't know. I've actually had a game where I took control of my opponent's like link monster that had 2 sidewards arrows, and I used my monsters to overlay into something. So it has its moments, but you definitely only want 1 of because you don't need a whole lot, but you have it in case you need to when it's there. So that's the main deck. I will say you can run, I would not recommend Pod Desires in this deck, but you can run Pod Extravagance in this deck, because until we get Condemned Darklord, you use like 1 card in your extra deck at max per duel. So, Pod Extravagance can be really interesting for someone who wants to test that, if you can afford it. Naturally, that card is super expensive, so not everyone can. But that's why I don't have them, because I can't afford them. But moving on to the extra deck, like I said, extra deck is totally up to you. This is just currently what I'm building, and you never use this thing. You use like 1 extra deck monster per game, maybe 2. But yeah. So here's just what I have for links. I have 1 Wee Witch's Apprentice. This will probably be taken out for Condemned Darklord when we get to Condemned Darklord, but for now it's fine. It's useful. 1 Nightmare Cerberus for monster popping, 1 Nightmare Phoenix for back row, and 1 Deco Talker This could arguably be a summon sorceress, because you can summon the Darklords from deck, but I don't have any spare summon sorceress, so it's a deco talker for now. I honestly haven't used this thing ever, but it's just there. So that's it for the links. Small amount of links. You can use some others, but that's what I have on hand. Next up for the Xyz, we run one Felgran. Yeah, this is my. I'm very proud. This is my Ghost Rare Felgran. I don't know if you can see this in the camera. Can you? But yeah. So I love this thing. I don't use it a whole lot, but I just like having it in here. One Zombie Stein. Zombie Stein's actually really good in here. Plus, you can activate Sanctified Darklord on it, and you'll gain like 4,500 life points. So he has double utility. Plus his effect is still good. One Hope Harbinger for the just negate spells and board presence. One Gustav Max for burn damage, because you can overlay 2 shields with it. One Dora, because it's in here. Not much to say. I would actually probably take this out for Libe if you can get a Libe. I don't have one at the moment, but which is why I'm running Dora. But definitely you can run a Libe, and it would serve basically probably their use, since Dora and Libe, Dora and Felgran are basically the same card. And for the last cards, I run one Ravenous Tarantula, one Pain Gainer, and one Seven Sins. So these 3 are my, oh, okay, these 2 aren't, but this one is my MVP. Because these 2, you can summon them with any of the other previous Xyz monsters by just slapping this one on them, and then you'll go into this, and then you'll go into this. So this thing, you ignore its effects. You literally only use it as another material for 7 Sins. But Pain Gainer, I actually have used his effect before. It doesn't come up often, but it's there if you ever need it. 7 Sins, though. If you had to run any extra deck cards, I would definitely run these ones. But this thing is easily my favorite, because for those of you who don't know what he does, you can overlay him onto any, let's see, rank 10 or 11 Dark Xyz monster you control, and all his materials become his materials. However, you can't use his effect the turn you summon him this way, because I don't know why, but he might be slightly OP if you could. And then and then when it comes back to your turn, if he lives, you can detach 2 materials to banish all face-up. Is it monsters or just special summon? Banish as many special summon monsters your opponent controls as possible. That is just ridiculous. Oh, and then you attach one of those banished monsters to this card as a Xyz material. And so yeah, that's just amazing. It's ridiculous. Plus, he can protect himself if he will be destroyed by battle or card effect. You can detach material instead. So he is in here because you don't go into him often, but when you do, you are basically going to win the game. Because either 2 things will happen. Either A, your opponent can't get rid of it, in which case you just activate the effect, banish everything, and proceed to attack them in the face with 4,000 body, or whatever other Darklords you have on field, because all the Darklords can basically kill you except Ukavek. Or 2, they get rid of this card, but they commit a ton of resources, or very important resources they have that they would normally use to get rid of your regular Darklords. This thing, when it hits the field, demands a answer to, which is why I run it. Because it basically puts your opponent in the position of they need to get rid of this card or they lose. It's just simple as that. So that's why I love this thing. I don't get its effect off all that often, but when I do, it's just beautiful. So that's why I run it. If you have to run anything, I would definitely recommend at least running these things, these 3, plus the Hope Harbinger and the Felgran. So, with that all being said, that is the deck. Oops. So, that is the profile for you guys. Let me know what you guys think. Overall, I love this deck. It's super fun to play. You can do some crazy stuff with it. and it's relatively cheap. It's like I said earlier, it's not the best, but it's still fun to use. Yeah, so as I said earlier, don't forget to drop a like down on the video because it helps. Don't forget to drop a comment down in the comment section because I try and read every single comment that's posted. And let me know what you guys think and what your builds are, or any suggestions you think might help the deck and try them out. And don't forget to check out our other videos because I do, like I said, I do try and record weekly. So I am Griff of Four Horsemen. This has been my Darklord deck profile, and I shall see you guys in the next video. So take care.